Hi, this is Edward Hudgins with an analysis of the second GOP debate. First of all, got to say something about the format. It was kind of brutal. You had basically 4 candidates in the under ticket at the kiddie table, went for about an hour and 45 minutes, and you had 11, count them, 11 candidates at the adults table, and that thing went over 3 hours. Now, the format was kind of interesting. The idea was to get the candidates to interact with each other. In other words, they wanted it like a reality TV show. They wanted it like kind of a food fight. Now, that made it tough for candidates to actually put forward some integrated, unified vision based on principles. On the other hand, a lot of them don't have an integrated, unified philosophy based on principles to begin with. But it would have been nice if they could have brought that more out in the candidates. But the interaction between them, the little mini debates, did bring out a couple of interesting themes. Now, by the way, one of the things you wonder about is how many people were actually able to follow all of that. Those are my notes, double-paged, page after page after page of notes. How many people actually could follow all of that stuff? Probably not too many. Well, let me go ahead and hit a couple of the highlights. First of all, you had a very interesting exchange between Rand Paul and some of the others. Rand Paul basically was defending marijuana decriminalization in Colorado. He said specifically that the war on drugs, it disproportionately impacts minorities. They're the ones that tend to go to jail, not the middle class folks who can get a lawyer and can get out of it. He also defended medical marijuana, pointing out that how insane it is for example, a parent who wants to give their children some sort of medicine based on marijuana to stop seizures. That woman could actually go to jail. This was in response, by the way, to Chris Christie, who had said that the day he becomes president, he's going to go ahead and nullify what happened in Colorado and go ahead and enforce the federal marijuana laws. So Rand Paul really stood out on that one. What else did we have out there? Well, of course, you had the war issue. And in a sense, you had 3 positions. Position number 1 was kind of the cautious one of Rand Paul, who said, look, every time we intervene, we sort of screw things up. So it's not ruling out force, not ruling out intervention to go after ISIS, but he says, hey, let's be a little careful. Number 2, and I think most of them agreed on this, peace through strength, the old Ronald Reagan saying. Barack Obama basically is the world's mat that you can basically wipe your feet on. He's got no respect. Why does Putin go into Ukraine? Well, because what's Obama going to do? No one respects him. Most of the candidates said that if they were strong presidents, for example, Fiorino building up the military, you probably wouldn't have a lot of these problems because some of these countries wouldn't even try. And finally, of course, you had Lindsey Graham, who basically said, let's just go in, let's bring the troops in, and let's have another war in the Middle East. Those were the 3 positions. That did come out in the debate. You also had a real show of ignorance coming out, especially from Huckabee and on the junior ticket, Rick Santorum, concerning the clerk in Kentucky who refused to give out marriage licenses. Not only did they make this a religious freedom issue and saying it's her religious right not to do her job, but they said, after all, what does the Supreme Court have to do with this sort of thing? They're not the ones who make the law. Well, they're not supposed to make the law, but the Supreme Court is the court that says this is what the law is. Yeah, you might not like the decision, but this is what the court does, okay? And their constitutional ignorance was truly magnificent. You also had the issue of immigration. A number of them went after Donald Trump for his notion that somehow you could pick up 12 million, kick them out of the country, but we'll keep the good ones around. Now, I want to end on a positive note. There were a few positive things. For example, Huckabee actually did, when asked about whether we should have get rid of tax breaks for hedge fund managers, said, well, I don't like the idea of having discriminatory taxes on any producers. He actually defended producers. But I think the best line, perhaps in this way, came from Carly Fiorina. She talked about the importance of leadership. And she especially spoke about the need to unleash and to let open up the potential of every individual. She really went after this notion of get rid of the status quo so we can unleash the potential of all of us. So that's my first try at the debate. More will be coming on this, and I hope you all were able to stay awake through the whole thing, as brutal as it was. Thanks for listening.